Gross moments on paternity court.
But then the babysitter decided, I'm gonna get in there and mediate this.
She was trying to sink shit.
So she sent a text to the ex and said, the baby looks like you.
I'm not raised like that.
Blah, blah, blah.
Hold on, you don't have any respect for yourself, but you will respect your mother in this court.
Love, doubt, and DNA collided, and Mr. Hoover brought the defendant to court to prove he fathered their baby girl, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Through the roof for the baby daddy. Will the truth reveal itself, or will it remain shrouded in mystery? Well, we're about to get to the bottom of that.
Your Honor, I love these girls. They're my world, and I just love everything. I just love everything about these women, and I just want everything to be right.
And so you feel like you're doing everything possible, and it's so important to you to be the biological father. I see the tears in your eyes.
Yes.
Once upon a time at a convenience store far, far away, the star-crossed lovers, Mr. Hoover and Miss Armour, met and fell in love. Well, it started with cheesy pickup lines and a pink bracelet. That's all it took for the sparks to fly. However, this fairy tale soon turned into a nightmare as the dreaded ex lurking in the shadows came forth. Uh-oh.
He pulled out a pink bracelet and he said, I made this for you. And it was the first time we ever really had a real conversation. And I didn't believe him because I'm like, oh, that's a cheesy pickup line. You just went and bought this. And he really did. We ended up exchanging phone numbers. And within that week, we started to hang out.
It was going all rainbows and sunshine, but the mommy destroyed it all for a one-night stand with the ex. Ew! What she didn't know was that her infidelity came up with an even bigger cost. Dun dun dun! A baby! Baby daddy was thrilled, but mommy knew best. She messed up. Big time.
A month or so, maybe 2, and I actually found out when I was with Lee. I was scared and I told him, I think I'm pregnant. We went and got a test, and when it came up positive, we both just started to cry because I knew there might have been 2 possibilities.
Even after the confession, the baby daddy was still hopeful about the conception window. Delusional or plain old hopeless romantic? Figure that one out. But moving on, as they embarked on this journey riddled with uncertainty, baby daddy was right alongside the baby mama.
Why would you do that, Mr. Hoover, when you know you may not be her biological father?
It didn't matter to me. I was there, and I love her. You know, I was telling myself I'm gonna love this baby too, because they all deserve the love that is required for their upbringing.
Continuing with the mess, Miss Armour did take the infamous ex into the loop, but he didn't appear too thrilled over the news. And so, after much needed talk with Mr. Hoover, baby mama decided to cut the ex out of her life for good, and he couldn't be happier about it. Gross, dude, indeed.
I was mad at my ex at the time. I did not like his lifestyle. I didn't want him in her life if she was his or not. Lee actually did not agree with that, but we decided he will be her father. I messaged my ex and said, she's not yours.
Oh, and he accepted that. He said, okay, thank you.
All he said was, K.
Guess who came back? Ding, ding, ding. It was the ex. These guys just couldn't get rid of him, could they? Like a bad fungus, he was back. But the manner in which he was back was a bit vague, if I do say so myself.
Even at the beginning, like she said, I didn't want her to text.
Yes, she said you thought it was a bad idea.
I was trying to counsel her, and I was trying to tell her we need to make this right. This is not just about us, her other possibility. It is about Nova Lee, and it should always be about Nova Lee. Nova Lee's here now, it's her.
What? Would you look at that? Seemed like not just the ex, but the babysitter was also after these guys. What the heck was going on with their household, man? That's nuts.
He got a message from our babysitter asking for baby pictures of him. And he said, well, I just want to compare. And he said, are you kidding me? They didn't get a DNA test. And she let his mind wander with it.
Had you told him you'd gotten a DNA test?
No.
Well, the ex couldn't grace the court with his delightful presence. Awfully convenient. But no worries, because his mother was more than happy to give a statement and proving why his son could not be the baby daddy. And everyone believed that, except for baby mama. Wow.
This would be his miracle child. This matter needs to be settled soon as possible. My son wants to add his name to the child's birth certificate and change her last name if he is the father. This is the statement from his mother, Lynn Bird.
I mean, there is no possibility that can be his baby. That is my baby.
The baby daddy was suffering a great deal, and his desperation was quite visible. All his answers were sealed in that envelope. Let's see what the judge's verdict held for this family.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Hoover, you are not the father. I'm so sorry.
We needed to know.
Miss Jasmine's life was all hunky-dory, and then out of nowhere, her whole world got shifted when her mother told her secret she had been keeping. Since then, the plaintiff had been on one heck of a journey for answers. But Mr. Little didn't appear to back down that easily.
So when I was about 11 years old, I got his number off a family member that's married to his family member. And I called him up on the phone.
When you were 11?
When I was 11. And I told him who I was, who my mother was, and what I believed. And he told me that he don't know, he need a DNA test, he don't think so.
Come on, man, give the poor girl a break. I mean, who does that to an 11-year-old? So, taking matters into her own hands, Miss Degree got down to business and made the much-needed phone call. To her dismay, though, the call didn't go as planned. Ouch!
When I found out she made the call, I wasn't even angry at her. I was more angry at Mr. Little for telling her that he don't think that he's her father.
And
to
I'm
an
a child.
11-year-old, when you could have just told her, I feel like me and your mom should discuss this instead of telling
Well, why
11 years
Exactly.
why did you call me and tell me that?
Told you baby daddy wasn't gonna back down. And more so, the guy even brought a calendar from 24 years ago, illustrating the window of conception. Man, he came prepared. He just couldn't wait to wash his hands of the entire situation. And it showed grossly.
You saw Miss Degree in November,
We messed around.
and she told you she was 1 month pregnant at that time.
Yes, she did.
On the second page of your calendar, you claim that you were intimate with her in August, which was just 3 months earlier, so therefore you know that wasn't the window of conception.
Now, amidst the window of conception fiasco, the daughter ended up raising a good question. But Mr. Hoover was all the more ready to answer that as well. He paid child support, and he did not like it. And then the court got plunged into pure chaos. Bang that gavel, Judge. They need some order.
You were so adamant that wasn't your child and they was taking money out your check. You should have wanted a blood test.
Hold up, I got that
If
too,
was
baby. I
so
got that too. Hold
good-
up, I got
figured,
the evidence
okay,
right
you
here.
got that too?
Hold up, I
You
got
do?
this right here. When I went to the court and they tried to get in contact with her for a DNA test, she never showed up. And I paid. Hold up, and I paid for 2 tests that they never showed up for.
Dear Lord, these guys thought they weren't in court, but in their backyard or something. Now, according to that evidence, the defendant did appear for the hearing, but interestingly enough, the mother-daughter duo did not. What's up with that, huh? And so, the garnishment stopped. Sounds pretty shady, though.
Why didn't you tell her then this is somebody else your dad? Why you had her believing that he was her dad? Then years later, she's 9 years old, you don't tell her I'm her dad.
And granted, that's my fault, but see, me being an adult, I can
And then
accept
now y'all
that
try
and
to come
take
to me and get water out-
that. But you being an adult and claim the fact that
Nobody
you never
wants your
took
money.
care of her.
I ain't taking
You
care of
sitting
her.
here, you sounding stupid.
Well, the drama didn't stop there. Oh no, it went on, people. Miss Degree had all the right questions for the defendant. However, his response didn't sit too well with the judge, and we know what she will do next, don't we? School was in session.
What was that like after you got that news?
I was kind of distraught. It's like, how could you say that to a child? All I want to know is what's going on. So I'm not blaming them, saying you're wrong or nothing. I tried to reach out to you as a kid, but now I'm coming as an adult
And
to
so
see if you're acting very childish. Like, come on now. We can both be grown. We can be grown here.
Moving on, Miss Jasmine's brother came up to support her, but he also had a few things to share. Specifically, the manner the alleged baby daddy reacted the day his sister made that call. Wow, The man had no remorse.
He said, I need a DNA test, and he hung up. Like, that just explains what type of man you are right there.
Exactly.
Hold up, the kind of man, I'm the one that reached out to come here to find out, to see what was going on.
You said,
I said, but we still need to know. I got two other kids I took care of. One more wouldn't have made no difference.
The moment we've all been waiting for, the DNA results were in. It was a long time coming for Miss Jasmine Degree, and she deserved to know where she came from. Let's see whether her search came to an end or not.
Mr. Little, you are her father.
This is my father.
Mr. Little, you really seem shocked.
I really am.
Don't cry, Mom. You my dad.
There were 2 brothers, a promiscuous partner, and a beautiful baby girl who hung in the balance. Yup, a packed situation over here. Miss Johnson stood firm in her belief, but the defendant, not so much. And he had a lot to say. So hold on to your DNA swabs, folks, as we dive into this tangled web of love, lust, and all kinds of uncertainties.
Ms. Johnson had a sexual relationship with 2 other men. You fear one of those men are the child's father.
Yes, Your Honor. There's 3 men that could possibly be her baby daddy. Of course,
3?
There's me, her ex-boyfriend before me, and this man sitting next to me who I consider a brother.
So, a Casanova father gave birth to a Casanova son, and we got Mr. Blackman. Yep, that pretty much sums him up and his personality. And boy, did he have some gross ideologies. To sum it up, he didn't like the taste of his own medicine. And somebody better check on Houston, because those guys are still living in the dark ages, man.
Your Honor, when I first met Mr. Blackman, I was already in a relationship. I was well taken care of. Me and my son had no need or want for anything. I jumped out of a relationship with my ex to be with him because there was an instant connection. And 2 weeks after I moved in with the defendant, I had sex with his brother. We had a threesome, so there's 3 possibilities.
Did you hear that and cringe out? Because I sure did. And this was just the start of the case too. Baby daddy, who once proudly declared his disregard for anybody's girl, now found himself in the same boat. While questioning the baby mama's promiscuity, the poor guy failed to make sense of his actions.
It was like a test for me to go ahead and let her go
But
ahead.
she's still with me though, and you had a baby with me that we purposely did.
So you're in a relationship with an older man.
Yes.
And then you all decide out with the old, in with the new, right?
We just had the instant connection.
So you had an instant connection. You all said, we're gonna be together.
Yeah.
So she jumped from one relationship straight to another. And a mere 2 weeks after moving in, she was getting intimate with his brother. I mean, what? Can somebody make sense of this, please? And like this mess wasn't messy enough, caution was thrown out the window too.
You didn't want her to fail the test.
But then, Your Honor,
And
this was supposed to be like a
around
one-time.
the time that Viviana was conceived?
Yes.
You say this threesome thing was supposed to be a one-time thing.
I'm thinking while I was at work though, because after that following week after that one time, my door kept being locked. I kept knocking on the door. So I'm thinking they've been doing it more than one time, Your Honor, honestly.
Now this ought to be fun. Imagine untangling the mysteries of this window of conception when there are threesomes happening. Was it during Mr. Blackman's tryst, Mr. Gross's escapades, or perhaps even her previous relationship? Anything was possible. But check out the irony. The cousin's name was Gross. What are the odds, man?
Now she telling me it happened twice.
I told
Now
you
he telling me it
twice.
happened 10 times. I don't know who to believe. So how am I gonna? How am I supposed to get married to her?
I'm not gonna lie to you like that. Come on,
Mr. Blackman, as much as I want to feel sorry for you because I can see you're hurting, you opened the door and your brother ran right on in.
I couldn't have summed it up better than that, Judge. Prepare to be even more dumbfounded. Don't say I didn't warn you. Apparently, these guys were trying for a baby. Not the threesome way, the old-fashioned way. But seriously, man, what? In 2 weeks, these guys were jumping ships like crazy. Imagine the mother's horror upon finding her daughter in such a predicament.
When she is 15, she is sending a naked picture in the cell phone. I'm not raised like that, so I sent her to Philippines so she could learn a lesson. She never...
Blah, blah, blah.
We have established that you don't have any respect for yourself, but you will respect your mother in this courtroom.
Well, the mother never wanted her daughter to be here. And yet, here she was. Funny how that went. I don't think even a conception calendar can help this situation here. Still, it came up, and it seemed the woman was good enough for these guys in bed, but not so much out of it. Double standards much?
Who do you believe Viviana's father is?
I believe it's Mr. Black.
Your Honor, I believe it's not nan one of ours. I believe
That's not true.
If you have sex with 2 men, you had sex with 4. You have sex with 4, you had sex with 8.
That's not true.
You had sex with 8, you had sex with 16. So I don't know who it is.
Bringing the curtain down on this gross case, I bet it was a delight for everyone watching. Ugh. Jokes aside, the actions produced a baby whose fate hung in the balance. Let's see what the future holds for her.
Her father is Mr. Blackman.
I told you. I told you. I told you.
One thing I can say about you two young people, it's time for you all to go behind your door in your home and turn the top lock and lock him out.